what if the at-fault driver who caused the crash doesn't have insurance? What do? Unfortunately, in Florida, there are a lot of people driving around who don't have insurance, or sometimes they don't have proper insurance. They have the bare minimum. Florida is one of a couple states in the whole country where they don't have to have something called bodily injury insurance. And bodily injury insurance is something where if I hurt you, you come after my bodily injury insurance for your pain and suffering and things like that. But Florida is one of those states where you don't have to have it, unfortunately. And, what I have found is most of the people who cause crashes, the ones who are irresponsible on the road, they're also irresponsible financially. And it's unfortunate. So I've had so many cases where there's literally no money to pursue and the person is broke and you can't get a dime out of someone who doesn't have anything. And, you have to turn cases away and it's sad. I've had people come to my office whose family members were killed and there's nothing that we can do for them. And it's heartbreaking. But that's why I always tell people, make sure that you have something called uninsured motorist coverage. It's also called uninsured UM. Uninsured motorist coverage is something that you pay your insurance company extra for every month to protect yourself in the event one of these idiots who's driving around hurting people, doesn't have the money to pay for it, hits you and hurts you. And so, sometimes people are like, wait, we're going to go after my own insurance company for my injuries, for my pain and suffering? Yes, we are. There are many situations where the at-fault party, let's just say your case is worth $100,000 as an example, and the at-fault party only has a $10,000 bodily injury insurance policy. What we do is we go get the $10,000 that they have on insurance from the at-fault party. And what does that mean? That means there's a whole $90,000 in the value of your case that you need to get compensated for. So we go after for the other 90,000 that we're talking about in this hypothetical, we go after your own insurance, your uninsured motorist coverage. Because remember, let's just say you pay your insurance company for $100,000 in coverage. You pay them extra money every month. You give it to them, they take it, right? Now it's time for them to pay for your injuries that are worth $100,000. And so oftentimes our fight is against our client's own insurance. And in those situations, what they do is they fight us as if, they're not on your side. They're basically taking a position that's contrary to your case. And they'll say, you know what? They'll tell me, Mr. Jaspon, you know what? We're grateful for our insured. He pays us money every month. We love getting his money every month. But unfortunately, we're not going to pay you anything close to what your client thinks he deserves. And so we get into these interesting battles with insurance companies about their own insureds, the value of their own insured's injuries and pain and suffering. And, I've had a lot of trials against uninsured motorist companies. And it's just an interesting dynamic in court when they are, my client's insurance company, and they're basically saying my client's a liar, a cheat, and a fraud. Their own insured because they don't want to pay any money. And like I have always said, if insurance companies did the right thing, I'd be out of a job. So, and what happens is, let's just say in that hypothetical we were talking about where the case is worth $100,000, we get the $10,000 from the at-fault party. We're going after our client's insurance for the other $90,000. Let's just say they offer $20,000. All right, well, and they're not going to go above that. I talk to the client and I explain to them, I think your case is worth a good bit more. Maybe we ought to file a lawsuit. We talk about that. And then we file the lawsuit against my client's own insurance company. So it'll be, John Doe versus Allstate or John Doe versus Geico. That's how, and then we serve the lawsuit on that insurance company and they hire their lawyers and we go to trial and we try to settle the case at some point before trial. Oftentimes that happens. But if not, then we go to trial and we have a jury determine, if this multi-billion-dollar corporation should have to pay for their insured's full value of their injuries. And so, in that situation, if we go to trial and the jury awards $1 million, what usually happens is they say, you know what, Mr. Jaspon, here's that 90,000 you asked us for before. And we say, no, 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 no. It's way too late for that. Now we want the $1 million. And that's when we get into something called bad faith law. We can talk about that another time. But the important takeaway here is it is vital, especially in Florida with all the crazies driving around, that you protect yourself, that you pay a little bit extra money for uninsured motorist coverage, because you don't want to be that person who is sitting there with 50,000 in medical bills because you got taken to the ER and you have all these residual bills, and the person who hit you has nothing, and you don't have any uninsured motorist coverage. Then you're out of luck, and there's nothing anybody can do for you. And I've had many clients where I've had to have where that's happened, and they just don't understand, and it's a tough conversation to have.